We're moving on to the final session for the day. This is the panel discussion, and the topic is short, sharp, unforgettable, the rise of microdramas in India. To moderate this session, I would like to call upon Mr. Rishav Agarwal, founder, Picxele. Please give a big round of applause, please. And may I also call upon the panelists on stage, Mr. Abhishek Kumar Srivastava, Vice President, Marketing, Piramal Consumer Healthcare, and Ms. Tejasvi Batria, Director, Head of Marketing, EloElo Group. Please give a round of applause, the audience. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Last session of the day, I think almost everyone is sleeping or left the room. Can I hear from you guys? Not able to. Thank you so much. So that we'll try to make it interactive. Uh, I can't say a bit of fun. That won't look good. But yeah, so we will talk about the industry which was not into existence before 1 or 2 years ago. And today it is around $300 to $500 million industry, expecting that it will touch $5 billion by 2030. And to talk about this, we have two folks out here, Abhishek from Piramal and Tejasvi from EloElo. So rather than me introducing them, I will let them introduce themselves. Please.
Hey everyone, my name is Abhishek. About 20 years of industry experience across brands and companies like Nestle, Hershey's, and now Piramal. Managed some iconic brands like Kit Kat, Hershey's, Kisses, and now brands like Lactocalamine, iPill. Uh, a big transition from food to a non-food. Back in my Hershey's days, I launched almost all the chocolates what you see outside in India for Hershey's. So we brought that in India for the first time. Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
Cool. Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Tejasvi. I come from EloElo Group. So I think I'll talk a little bit about microdramas, what are microdramas, because probably that's a phenomena which is kind of new to this room at the moment right now. So I think how many of us actually scroll on Instagram? Can we have a show of hands? YouTube Shorts? Great. So I think one thing you guys would have noticed when you're scrolling through each of these channels, everything that comes is kind of disconnected, right? They're not like in a sequence or something that's coming through. It's the algorithm that figures out what is happening, what is not happening. So if I talk about EloElo, we have been into the vertical storytelling industry from the year of 2020. So almost 5-6 years is where we have been spending a lot of time with the users of Bharat, understanding what are their pain points, what are their consumer behaviors, what do they like, dislike, and so on. And when we understood that, okay, this format is something needs to evolve at the moment right now for them to kind of consume something new, watch something new, is where microdrama as a coin thing came up to us, and we started building on that. Just to share some, like how Rishav spoke about how big is the market right now, probably I'll give you guys some insights on how big the app at the moment looks like. So if any one of you have your Play Stores open or if you want to check, we have over around 100 million users currently at the moment at the right now. So this kind of shows you the scale at what microdramas have reached. And this is actually a very new category right now. It's just 1.5 years into being. It has been a phenomenon probably in China and the US, but India is something which is evolving on a day-to-day basis. Apart from that, I think if I talk about how microdramas is, it's actually very fun, very interactive. If you guys spend some time on this app, I think you will get a lot of addiction. It's like the dopamine which Reels give you, but not the guilt that Reels give you after watching it and looking at your screen time that, hey, I actually invested 4 hours of my life watching nothing. Here you spend time, you watch stories, you watch shows. These are all shows which are made originally by our organization. We write them, script them, produce them, and create it end to end. And yeah, that's where the user base of over 100 million users is what we are at the moment with. And for sure, we would be scaling this further from here as well.
Amazing. Like, obviously, I have some follow-up questions, but before that, Abhishek, like, everyone is saying that the real users is into Bharat, like tier 2 city and beyond. But still, we see that good percentage of users are from metro cities. Why is the shift? Who is buying? Who is paying? Why they are doing this?
Okay, so who's buying, who's paying? I think my friend should answer. But we did some of the stuff last year. In fact, the whole advent of microdrama started in the last couple of years, right? We were possibly among the early adopters for brands like Lactocalamine, iPill. We did the microdrama series, again, obviously a branded one, but it was very seamlessly integrated to the whole storytelling, right? So it still remains very much as a microdrama, but then the brand gets into the story. In fact, we won Goa Fest for both the microdrama this year because there were not many brands who were experimenting it, right? Now, a big chunk of our consumers or the viewers were actually the metro and tier 1 towns, right? And when I say metro, again, Nielsen definition is towns with million plus population. So essentially, it remained largely in that space. Now, in terms of subscription, I think you can talk more about it. But a significant amount of engagement, a significant number of shares actually happened in this metro towns, right? And largely led by the mega metros. That's where the bigger consumption and possibly they were the first early adopters to microdrama as a concept. At least that's what we saw when we did the integration, and I think it is rapidly evolving. There are more and more consumers and viewers who are watching it, and exactly like you mentioned, it's a dopamine which you get when you watch, and and the content you see, and you kind of are left at one episode at a cliff, and then you just can't wait to go to the next episode, right? So that's how the storytelling is done. But that's how it is, right? So I would say essentially spread across metros and Bharat. And also it's important that you should not think of this as who's watching. I think one has to create content for both, right? Some content can travel between a metro and a kind of a non-metro or Bharat. But at the same time, it's very important that you address both the audience, right? And their genre of content could be very different, right? So as a production or as an organization who is making the content has to address both. Yeah, and you want to talk about the subscription and where the money
We'll
comes.
come to that. But before that, actually, one interesting thing, because I know EloElo since 2020. Like, I've been known you guys. Like, our office is 100 meters away from each other in Bangalore, which is
We're
quite...
still meeting in Bombay.
So that's the beauty. The basic thing is, like, when did you guys recognize that this market is going to explode? Because reaching 100 million users is crazy, like in 1.5 years, 1 year. I remember 1.5 years actually. So
1 year, we actually started on 28th June.
correct.
That was the first day
So
of
when did you
marketing.
realize that this market is going to explode and this would come this far?
So see, in terms of this overall vertical mobile watching, mobile vertical storytelling and all, that was something which was always in our DNA because that was something we were building. Always our focus was that how do we keep coming up with newer formats of entertainment for this user base? Because what is the situation here is that if you break audiences, there are audiences which are of different types. Everything does not fit correct for everyone. Some of them are probably watching your mobile phones for entertainment. Some want to do it for learning. Some want to do it for XYZ and so on. And that's how we were confident, okay, you know what? Micro is something which is there because how people spend times on their mobile phones, how much time they invest actually into their phones. And that's where we were like, okay, story TV is something which would make sense. It would surely explode. That was the confidence and the conviction we had as a team, that because we knew the consumers really well. We knew exactly what tier we are talking to, who are we talking to, what do they want, and how do they want it. Similarly, that also led to from microdramas to microlearning, which is another app that we have built, which is called Master. So yeah, that's been our journey. And I think post that, the numbers that we're seeing also kind of justify the conviction we had, one, in terms of scale, second, in terms of the kind of time every user spends. So probably if I talk about time being spent by an average user in a day, it's almost over 95 minutes is what a user spends every day on Story TV watching some of our original content or not. So that shows that what we are making is being loved by the audience. The years that we actually invested in understanding that user base did make sense. We understood them correctly, and yes, that's how this format made sense for us.
Interesting take as a distribution point of view, as a stickiness. But Abhishek, like when it comes to brand actually, for brands, is it like just like a media buying kind of a thing or an IP creation for a long term? Because you being in Piramal, there might be a situation that you run a lot of brands. You're working with, you have multiple sub brands in the particular group as a company. So for you, how do you see this? Like as a media buying or in creating IP, creating a distribution layer, how it is?
Yes, I think it is definitely not media buying, and that'll be like the complete waste of money if one thinks of spending money on microdrama just from a media perspective. See, the whole content, the whole format is a very storytelling format, right? If one has to reach in the cheapest form to consumers or viewers, there are many platforms, and I'm not going to take the name, right? So media, definitely not. I think it is all about story. It's all about being embedded into that storytelling which consumers are seeking. And see, overall, see what is very critical. It's the retention of consumers coming back and watching your content again and again, the episodes which you watch, right? So that's something which is very important. So the way we look at it is, you have to, if you are taking a bet on microdrama, it has to be very seamlessly integrated into the story. It should talk about the benefit of the product rather than just showing the product in a way, but then everything should be very seamless, right? So for example, when we talk about a lactocalamine sunscreen, you show the usage in the context of the story. You don't need to go and separately talk about what's the benefit, and it can just be between two friends who are a part of the storytelling, right? So all that is something which is very seamlessly possible, and we did that for both lacto as well as iPill, which is the emergency contraceptive. So I believe it is not media for sure. It is definitely more consideration, right? Just from a brand funnel perspective. At the same time, if the viewership is high, you get the reach, right? Which is actually a bonus for you, right? So that's how we look at for our brand integrations.
Interesting take. Tejasvi, like when it comes to creating the content and then acquiring user, in this format, who matters the most? Like the writer or the growth marketer? You are a growth marketer, okay?
Yeah, but to be honest, in a content organization, if you ask this is going to be one of the most toughest questions for anyone to answer. But yeah, see, it's not about who's doing what, who is important or who is not here. It's about understanding the overall flywheel of how content to distribution works here, right? Because see, when there are writers, when there are content creators, these guys are nuanced people who understand the art of storytelling. They know exactly the nerves of the audience, that what they would like, what they would dislike, the kind of research that is going behind them. That's their forte. Now, when we talk about growth marketers, they understand the audience, they marry the audience with the data and understand the right kind of distribution that's needed to bring it out. So it's actually a flywheel. It's not who's important, who's not important. It's like, if I have to talk about in a very simple way, one provides you the depth, one provides you the width, while content ones are providing you the depth of baking your catalog, and the marketers are giving you the width of reaching out to audiences. So I think picking one side is going to be really difficult for anyone, but yeah, both need to go hand in hand to make one part a very big success overall here.
I'll just add to this, yeah. So it's also like a chicken egg story, right? A growth marketer will bring that cohort which seems is a high potential cohort, and then the writer will write for that cohort, right? Whatever microdrama I've seen, I've not seen many, but whatever I've seen, it's the first few, it's possibly the first episode, or not even the episode, it may be the first 30 seconds which decides, are you going to watch the whole show, or you're just going to skip that and move on to something else, right? So if the writer has not understood the consumer well or the viewer well, and if he's not understood the nerves of what they will like, it is dead, right? So you're not going to watch, forget about distribution, forget about everything else. People are not going to watch beyond one episode, right? So technically it doesn't work. So it is not about one or the other, it's a chicken and egg, but then both are equally important, I believe, yeah.
The hook always remains. But one interesting thing about this particular panel and other three panels where I was present as an audience, it's been 15 minutes. I have not spoken a word called AI. So now I'll ask the question, because or else people will judge me. Coming from Bangalore, I'm not talking about AI.
I'm
Is
from
correct.
HSR layout.
So how much of AI is accepted in this category? Like, for example, for a product point of view, when we are selling some product, like a sunscreen, like how much of AI is accepted? And in your category, when it comes to can be thriller or can be horror, can be any category, how much AI is accepted by the audience? Because it's a trust issue also, and it becomes like how you're presenting the emotions in the particular entire storyline. So anyone can start.
So again, see, AI acceptance by the audience is some data that we have seen on the app recently. So we launched one of our shows, which is called Yakshini, a Dev Hunter. That is an end-to-end AI show that was created from scripting to production to making each and every frame. And to our surprise and what we saw that a show crossing within launch of 3 to 4 days, crossing over 1.8 million views, did show that that is something which is being accepted by the audience. Now, if I go a little deeper into how AI else is also being accepted, is also accepting it at a production level as well, right? Because AI helps you in a way to kind of make things which you cannot imagine that could be done by the humans over here. So it is like adding to production levels, creating different backgrounds, creating those screens, kind of manipulating and making things look much more realistic, much more beautiful. So I think audiences are something which they are really accepting AI right now, and other platforms also are doing it at
But
the moment.
what comes when it comes to emotions? Like we were discussing before also, like
Yeah.
when you say something funny, sometimes AI don't smile. Like AI avatars don't smile. Or if you are emotional, sometimes they don't cry. It happened. I have seen some kind of characters. Like how one can be better in that, in showcasing, or like how to demonstrate in a way that people will not feel that it's a non-living creature kind of a thing.
So I think here the LLM model, if I get into it, it's going to be really over the top for everyone. But yeah, those learning models is what generally works here on how you're training your AI, how are the character sketches being built, and how are you kind of doing things over there to make it look more realistic. And also, I think at a level, understand what and where AI needs to be incorporated. मतलब हर जगह मत घुसाओ उसको. You need to understand where it is needed there.
And so you're right, right? Today, the emotions possibly are not coming out the way you would expect a story to be told when it comes to creation through AI. But if you go back last year, right? And I remember having some of these conversations last year to this year. Every time when you meet in a quarter or a couple of quarters down the line, you've got something new which has come up, right? So 6 months down the line, we will again meet, and then you will say that, okay, now the emotions are coming out, something else is not happening. So what I think there is a very strong and fast-paced innovation which is happening on AI, which we will all experience, right? So then couple of years down the line, a lot of things which is not happening today will start happening. I think the important bit is that will AI have a role to play in microdrama? I think it is absolutely yes. Today it is already taking a lot of production and repeatable thing which is happening on a microdrama format. Some of the stuff is still needs some work and will evolve, and I think that's how it is. Just from a brand perspective, why not actually? Why not be a part of the of taking an AI and ensuring that the story can be told in a better way or more sharper way and efficient way. Today, end of the day, it's also about efficiency and cost, right? You create a microdrama of multi-million, people will not latch onto it, right, as a brand. So cost efficiencies become very important. So as there will be a progress and evolution in terms of getting some really good emotion-ready content, more and more brands will latch on to it.
Just adding on to your point here, where you mentioned about how AI is going to be accepted. So I can talk a little bit about how it is being accepted by us as users who are building microdrama on a day-to-day basis. So one thing which AI has really helped us, and that's something we've also built in-house, and that's something as an organization we are super proud of, is our prediction models. So we have models which are being built on scripts being put out, and we know the kind of success rate that it could actually give us. So it's making not only the job of a content person much more easier, but also of the growth person easier, so that we know where we're spending our money. We know exactly which might work, which might not work, what part of a story needs revamp, because this is something which has been trained on over the 1500 original catalog that we've built for our organization. So it's all the learnings that AI is bringing us. Apart from that, production level, it's just reduced our overall time of how to create content, and that's why in a day we almost launch 4 to 5 shows on our platform right now, making it almost closer to 150 original shows, which was probably earlier looked a little difficult or a Herculean task when we thought about it. But now if we think, we're like, हो जाएगा मतलब 150 show तो महीने में कर ही लेते हैं अब. So yeah, that's the power of AI right now.
Interesting. So we understood about the market, the type, the category, acceptance, everything. I read somewhere China crossed $7 billion kind of a market cap in 2024. And we are, I think, too far as of now. But are we just copying it, or like we will write some our own playbook, which will become world's favorite kind of a thing? Next thing, will people will see that, yes, India se ye ban kar aaya hai, we will see this. Or India will start producing something, different categories, different languages, not only Indian origin languages, but different languages. How do we see this market to grow in next 4-5 years?
So I think first, I feel it's a little misconception that people have that India is copying the China market that's being done on microdrama. To be very honest and putting it out loud, there is actually no global playbook that has been created for this market. I think everyone at this moment right now is trying their level best, trying to understand how things are going to work. Having said that, if we take very simple examples, if we talk about a country like China, we talk about a country like India, we talk about a country like US. Each country has their own cultures. Each audience has their own different taste of watching content. Each thing is very different over here. So overall, the choices that one user makes in each of these regions cannot be replicated from one region to another at all. Like, it's as simple as that, ki what works in Hollywood does not, when it's launched in India, does not make it over here. Or what is launched in our North films does not really have a success in the Southern films over here. So here it is kind of understanding the audience, understanding their nerves very well, and trying out different genres. And that's something which we have been doing. Like, if I talk about microdramas right now, people have just taken, like, generally people were doing shows that, hey, let's build a content which is 90 minutes to 120 minutes at the moment right now. But we launched something which was called Story TV Dailies. That was one of our first IPs that we created, that every day there are new episodic launches that happen. And users really came back on the platform and started watching them day to day. So building that habit was much more important over there. Apart from tropes, what work in China, if we talk about, it's more of fantasy, what works. India does not resonate with that because their culture of fantasy is very different. Their mythology is very different from us. So I don't think it's about a playbook being replicated or something that India is doing. This is an industry which is currently growing 1.5 years from its birth. It is taking its steps. I think it will build its own journey. It will have its own journey, and users will have their own choices here, unlike the parallels of any other country for us here.
Interesting take. Guys, do you want to ask questions? Then I will continue asking questions. Or else, okay, there are 2 hands. 2 questions, after that we'll come. 2 short questions to the panel. Abhishek, according to you, what will be microdrama in 2030?
What will be, I think one of the things, and we were just discussing, at backstage, was again on the genres, right? Is microdrama going to bring a new genre which, say, we have not seen, right? Like feature films talk about, a specific kind of genres which works. Then we saw Dhurandhar happening, which was very different, grammar of storytelling. like what Indian cinema has seen, right? So there has been evolution and new benchmarks been set. Now, I would be surprised, I mean, I won't be surprised to see that something new which comes up through microdrama, which possibly Indian consumers or India has not seen in past, just from a storytelling perspective. That is one definite expectation. I definitely see a lot of adoption of microdrama, and just because Indian, Gen Z consumers looking at snackable content, want something which is very native to mobile, want video on demand, and then just see the content quickly and then move on. I think those kind of things are only increasing every day, right? So, and I'm not surprised when you mention 90 minutes or something as the amount of time which is being spent. Essentially, some time moving away from reels to this is what is possibly happening, because end of the day you've got 24 hours only, right, in a day. So that adoption will continue to increase by 2030. And one other thing which I expect also, I mean, just from a brand perspective, is the overall storytelling and the quality will really evolve, right, in next couple of years. It'll become far more efficient versus where it is today. And I'm sure you mentioned about AI. There definitely will be a lot of AI which will be used, when we will come back and discuss the same thing in 2030. So I think these are few things which I envisage to happen on microdramas. And so, as brand custodians, we are actively looking for opportunities where we can, partner on this kind of storytelling.
Interesting. Like you mentioned a couple of things, but one thing from you, Tejasvi, like which genre will evolve? Like is it thriller or education or
ये
mythology?
पता होता तो अभी तक कर लेता.
तभी तो.
But I think, see, genre again, because as we mentioned about talking about this industry, right? Audience expand. Audience, everyone has a different taste. Like you and I probably might not
अभी
like
क्या
the
चल
same.
रहा है? अभी सबसे ज़्यादा क्या चलता है?
Abhi, it is about talking about hidden identity. It is talking about alpha males. It is talking thrillers. Thrillers is something that people really enjoy watching onto the platform right now. So obviously newer genres will keep coming. We will come to know which makes the 100 CR. So we are also looking forward to it and working towards it in the right direction.
Cool, interesting. We can have question now.
Hi, this is Reema, and my question to you all is, a lot of streaming platforms and social platforms have started creating category or boosting micro dramas. One of the production houses, Listen TBH, is already releasing one minute or videos, terribly tiny tales. Do you think promoting it on apps and streaming platforms is the way to navigate this, or apps like Cuckoo and EloElo will also have their space in the market? Like, what's your take on people and app downloads?
So see, at the moment, if I talk about, those are the platforms where the kind of distribution that's there, or the exploration of this format is happening. And that is why everyone's trying to put it out over there. But having said that, what you're asking is more about talking if there's going to be like a marketplace setup that's going to be built. Probably for sure it could be happening, but we don't know when will it reach that point where you have different production houses being put into one, because all the players right now in the market are producing their own content. No one's generally kind of getting it from someone else, but probably it could happen in some time or not.
Sorry, I'll switch it this way. Is China getting into the Netflix market is what? In the series of microdramas. There's a separate microdrama section that is going to come down in next 1 or 2 years. So will the app market still last for Cuckoo and brands like yours?
How? Because why wouldn't it? Just trying to understand from you.
No,
Why do you feel so? I'm just trying to ask you that.
No, as in the user interface. I mean, you're used to watching it on YouTube, Netflix, or other apps like Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So is there a video on demand for other apps like Cuckoo or audio-only apps, or will Spotify and other people only dominate the market for streaming platforms? For microdrama specifically is what I'm asking.
Microdrama right now and Netflix are pretty opposite. They are
Oh.
just trying, like, what we know is that other platforms, not taking names here, is just trying to explore the format and see if it's really going to work for them or not. Probably some Indian players have also done it. But how it will evolve, I think that would be how the users actually resonate to such a thing and see how it works out for them. Because data would be needed to back this up and say that if this is going to really make sense or not.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions?
I just wanted to understand that for each episode, what is the best practice in terms of the duration, which you would have seen as, data on your platform?
Something which resonates the vertical viewing for anyone that they're accustomed to, which is anywhere between 60 to 90 seconds, is what people are accustomed to watching at one point of view and then moving on to the next one. And that's something which is being done on the microdrama industry as well right now.
And usually you would release the episodes one by one?
No,
or
so it depends
it would
on-
just be like as content on the app and then people can just view it?
Yeah, so overall there is a show that is made, which is an original show that is created. It lasts anywhere between 90 to 120 minutes. That's an average length of the entire storyline that's being there. Now, that is launched at one point of time for the user. So they can watch it at one go and finish it at one go. The dailies part, which I had spoken about, that was a different concept that we were trying, that rather than launching all the 120 episodes at one go, if they are broken up into different segments, like how daily drops happen on TV is what we've been seeing,
Right.
how does that resonate? And that's something that we've seen has got great response from the audience as well.
So when you don't have it all together,
Dailies is a very small part of the catalog that's being tried out, tested at the moment right now and being scaled.
what would you suggest for a brand to put all the content together, or to build that, especially if it's a thriller, for example? So would you suggest that you release one episode and sort of build it on and wait for them to wait for people to watch and hope that it builds that suspense?
Can I ask you a question in return?
Sure, sure.
Would you like to watch a storyline which gets interrupted or uninterrupted?
It really depends on the content.
That's how similarly it works on microdrama, because when you're watching it in a flow, no one really wants to break it up that time, right? So, because when I'm saying 95 minutes, it's almost like one person finishing off a content at one go.
Yeah.
So obviously that would make much more sense that you put it out there, because no one wants interruptions. People don't want ki you're watching something today and then waiting for next Thursday for the next 5 episodes to come in, because they're in the flow, so they want to watch it together over there. Because vertical viewing is something that they're accustomed to at the moment right now. They're habitual of watching that. That's the attention span a person can have. Even if you for example, you take long form content on your phone, if it's a 1.5 hour thing on your horizontal screen, I don't think anyone can consume it at one go. They would ideally move it to a 1.5, 2x and then watch it in breaks. This thing in microdrama at the moment right now is being built for snackable content. That's the ideal way to do it. So it's not like you need to really invest your time, sit on your couch, put on your TV, get popcorns and sit and watch. It is like right now, for example, if I'm speaking, you're getting bored, you could actually watch a microdrama in this time. That's how it is. So that's why the shorter length, it's easier for them to continue the story, because the second part of how the storytelling happens here, every minute there is a cliffhanger that happens. There's something which they don't expect is happening. So if we really keep it for long, then it becomes a very long form content. The user would lose interest. The moment something, that's how Reels also gave us dopamine. Every 30 seconds, something else is happening there. So that's the learnings that have come in from here.
Great. I will now interrupt. Sorry. So, okay. Thank you so much. It was great chatting with you both, Abhishek and Tejasvi. And I hope you guys didn't get bored the last session for the day. You can say no also or yes also. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.